Looking over how to get a Spring application in an Eclipse IDE, we don't really need to download anything other than our Eclipse workspace. We can do everything else inside of here. So we're going to want to see this menu right here. We want to go into Help. Then we're going to want to go to a Eclipse Marketplace. So we have to find Eclipse Marketplace, and once we find that, we are able to go into the Eclipse Marketplace. What we're going to want to type up is the Spring web. So we will just type in Spring and we can press enter from here, and it's going to query the marketplace. We can type in Spring Framework to make it a little bit more consistent as well. I'm using Spring Tools 4. This is the one that I'm going to get, so we can click install here, and then we'll just wait for it to install. We want to leave everything that's already check, and then click confirm. We can accept the terms and click finish. And to have everything in here, we can close our Eclipse and then reopen it. Once we've restarted our application, we can click the file, or we can go up and click the file. We want to make a new project, and then in here, we can see that we have our Spring Boot. We're going to want to just click this, and we're just going to want to double click this or open it. And then we're going to click Spring Starter Project because we want a Spring Starter project unless we want to import something. And we'll click Next from here. We have our service URL that's going to be the same. That's what we want it. We then have the name of our project, and I'm going to be doing something for my work as just a demo, and we're just going to make a Taco application. So we'll call it Taco Cloud. We can leave everything else the same as it is right now. If we want to change anything later, we can always just go and refactor it. We're going to click next, and we're going to want to add some things in here. We're going to be using 2.7. So inside of here, the things that we want to search for and add is the Spring Web. So we're going to click our Spring Web. We're going to want to search for some more. So we're going to want to do Thime Leaf. Then lastly, Spring Boot, and then Dev Tools. So we're going to have these three inside of here, and then we can click next. If we want to have a different base URL, we could change this, but we're just going to use the Spring.io starter zip, and then we can click finish from here. Now this is going to generate our Spring file, and it should pop up in our package explorer. It popped up as Taco Cloud, so we can expand this, and then we have our src, and we can expand this. We also have a help.md, mvnm, nvnm.command, and pom.xml. Expanding this, we have our main inner test. So we can expand both of these, and everything disbanded. But in here we have our src main.java, and I realized why it kind of de-expanded. It's because that it was still loading our project. So this is what everything should look like loaded. Everything down here is still the same. We can see that we're going to have our src main Java. That's what we want. We have a com.example.demo, but we want to change this to tacos. And to change something, all we're going to do is go to refactor, rename, and then we want to update our references just to make sure that's checked. And then we can click OK, and it's going to update it. It'll take a second to search for the references and index them and then change them. Then once it's done, it'll show you all of the changes it would make, and then it'll change them. In our tacos, we have our Taco Cloud application. We have our src main resources, where we have static templates and application.properties. We have our src test Java. We have our JRE system library, which we are not going to expand because there's a lot in there. And then we have our Maven dependencies, and these are all of our dependencies. Lastly, we have our src, where we have our main and our test. I also didn't expand our src test Java. We want to expand that because in here we are going to have our example where we have the Taco Cloud application test.java, and that's where we're going to run the test. Now we're going to look more into depth with each of these files and all about them in the next video, and that'll be in the playlist link below the like button.